Coming your way on this Friday edition of Philadelphia 76ers Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. We have a new Mikal Bridges trade update. Hope everybody out there is getting set to have a fantastic weekend. And here at Chat Sports, we have a fantastic battle going on between the Miami Heat Report, Philadelphia 76ers Now, two rival channels. Two rival teams, both similar sizes as far as the channels go. That's why we're doing this June sub battle. The Miami Heat Report has picked up 119 new subscribers since June 1. 76ers now at 103. Let's get that victory. Hit that sub button because this is your home for the best coverage during this pivotal offseason for Philadelphia. Are the Brooklyn Nets going to make a dumb move and keep Mikal Bridges in order to build around him and be a mediocre basketball team for the foreseeable future? It looks as though that could be the case. Fred Katz of The Athletic saying the Nets do not want to trade him, and they have turned down big offers in order to retain him and keep him as part of that organization's future. Here's what Fred Katz had to say about Bridges, his standing with the Nets, and his future. The Nets have expressed zero interest in trading Bridges, according to league sources who have been in contact with them. And it's not like they haven't had opportunities. Other teams have had hordes of offers of first-rounders, and Brooklyn has not engaged. According to league sources, Brooklyn's front office has told teams it views Bridges as a costar to whichever big name it can trade for down the line. That's the organization's long-term plan, though all it takes for the blueprint to change is one hint from Bridges that he would not re-sign in a couple of seasons. Bridges, do us all a favor. You're from the Philadelphia area. You went to Great Valley and Villanova. Just tell Brooklyn you're not going to sign a long-term extension and demand a trade to Philadelphia. Look, I understand wanting to keep good players for the Nets, but Bridges is the perfect complementary piece. I don't think he's a superstar player. And the worst thing that you can do when you're running an NBA organization is to just float in mediocrity. Because when you float in mediocrity, you're always going to pick at the back end of the lottery or in the middle of the first round. Oftentimes, you're not going to find an impact player, and you're always going to be a 6 to 8 seed with no real hope. That's why the Sixers brought in Sam Hinkie. That's why we went through the process years to get a couple of stars in Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and Tyrese Maxey. Has it worked out? No, not as far as winning championships, but I'll tell you this, it's been fun to watch Joel Embiid ball and win MVPs and be a stellar player for Philadelphia. There's such a difference between the star that is Embiid and who Bridges is realistically. Bridges realistically a great co-star, number 2 or a number 3 guy who has developed his offensive game. He can hit threes, has more of a dribble pull-up now, is a very good defender, but he's not going to lift you to a championship by himself. So right now, he's the number 1 on the Brooklyn Nets. He's not winning you games by his lonesome. And the Nets want to add a star next to him, but what if Bridges does leave in 2 years? And which player in free agency is looking at the Brooklyn Nets saying, that's the destination I want to go to, when in the same city of New York in general, you have the New York Knicks who are ascending right now. What really attracts me to Bridges outside of the game and him being a great fit, we'll get to that here in a second, is the contract. 2024, 2025, $23.3 million. And then 2025, 2026, $24.9 million. That is so affordable for a player who I really, really like. This is why I think Mikal Bridges is the perfect player for the Philadelphia 76ers and the guy who Daryl Morey should trade for. First, you talk about fit. He has grown his offensive game where he's a really good catch-and-shoot three-point shooter. He's developed his mid-range where the dribble pull-up has become a part of his game. But he's the perfect fit alongside Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid because he doesn't need the basketball to be effective. He's comfortable with standing in the corner. Or if you need him to get a bucket, he can do that. He can also improve your defense dramatically because he can guard multiple positions at an elite level, and there's a long sample size of him being a great defender in this league. But also, you talk about the price tag for Bridges. He's under team control the next 2 years at a very affordable rate for what he gives you at $23.3 million and $24.9 million the next 2 years. Mikal Bridges, fit, affordability, overall game, the perfect trade target for Philadelphia this offseason. Now we bring on producer Chip. Is there any chance to still get him? It's going to be hard. I think the asking price is well above what Bridges actually is and should demand on a normal market, but the Nets are desperate here. I will say, if they want to rebuild, Sixers have a handful of first-round picks they can give up. I just don't know if that does it.
Yeah, and right now at this moment in time, I don't think the Nets move Bridges this offseason. But who's to say, they start off the season poorly again, down there in that 10, 11, 12 range, because, again, that team outside of him is just not that talented. And as the number one, he's not carrying you to win games, right? So maybe, that trade deadline comes around, and then it's all of a sudden, Bridges will be entering the final year of his deal next season. And then the Nets are saying, okay, do we think we can truly get a superstar to come here to Brooklyn? If we don't, would it be smarter to trade Bridges now? So this upcoming trade deadline, where the team that trades for him would still have him for another season? Or would they rather hold on to him, see if they can make something work, and then try to trade him the next year? But then if you try to trade him the year after that, all of a sudden he's an expiring contract. Teams will pay more the longer they can have Bridges on the squad. And that's why I think it's smarter for them to trade him now, because whatever team trades for him gets him for 2 full years.
Right.
Again, maybe come trade deadline, it's a possibility. A couple first-round picks might be able to get it done, but it's looking like this offseason, getting Bridges might not be happening because the Nets just have an ego, man. They don't want to move him.
And obviously it's dependent on what happens with the Sixers this offseason, but if they can't land him over the next couple of months, then maybe you look toward the NBA trade deadline in February for the reasons that Chip talked about. If they're bad, they might look to deal him, and that's the moment in which you can get him at maybe a more affordable rate when you need that move to truly make you a championship contender. That's when you pounce for Bridges. So how many picks would you give up for him? You get in the shoes of Daryl Morey, and you let us know down in the comment section what you think it would take. Coming up next, if the Sixers cannot trade for him, backup options if you can't land Bridges. First, this hat, it's not going to be a backup in your wardrobe. It's going to be at the front of the line. And I'm a big hat guy. I got to pounce on this. Draft hats on sale right now at chatsports.com/76ers draft hats. There are flat brim hats available as well as dad hat style too, both with that same look. And historically, some of the draft hats haven't looked good. I really like the scheme here as far as the design, the colors, kind of that beige color too makes the logo pop. They're on sale right now, chatsports.com/76ers draft hats. We'll put that link down below in the show notes and attached to the pinned comment of today's video. As for those backup options, if Philadelphia can't wheel and deal for Mikal Bridges, these players are all of the same 3-and-D mold. And that's kind of what Bridges is for a true championship team. On the Nets, he's not really a 3-and-D guy because he has to create. On a really good team, like the role that he had with the Phoenix Suns, more of that 3-and-D prototype. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. We had a Chat Sports outing last night. We're taking down a couple of drinks. A little bit hungover here today on this Friday. But we were talking about KCP and why he could be a good backup plan for Philadelphia. He's won a couple of titles. You can rely on him to defend at a really high level. He's a good complementary piece on your team who can have an impact on both ends of the floor, can knock down the three, and his numbers this year as one of those other options outside of Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, serviceable. 10 points per game, 45.5% from the field, 40.5% from three-point range. That is not Bridges' production. That's why he's a backup plan, but that's that 3-and-D wing at 6'5", 204 who can defend and hit the three-point shot. Number 2, we talked about Alex Caruso earlier this week. Not really a wing, more of a guard because he's 6'4", but he can guard wings because he's one of the best defenders in the NBA. His numbers, eerily similar to KCP's numbers. 10 points per game, 46.5% from the field, 40.8% from three. Catch and shoot threes, he's been money. He can play on ball, off ball. He can guard multiple positions. That's a really, really solid player who, like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, is the player of that championship build, championship identity, who consistently makes winning plays. Now, you can't say the same about Gary Harris, but throughout his career, he's had roles in which he's had to score, and he's not going to give you that size of Kentavious Caldwell-Pope of defending at an extremely high level on the wing, but he can at least get the job done there. And over the last couple of years, hasn't had as many offensive opportunities as he had early in his career. But the thing with Gary Harris, much more affordable than KCP and Alex Caruso. Make sure you give us a follow on X. At Chase_Senior. He is at Jake Chipper. Say what's up. Don't be a stranger. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe to us here on 76ers Now for year-round coverage.